And Violent Wrestling Podcast is live on the air. I'm one of your hosts, Ambrose Sally, with the other host of Mox and Metal Matt.
So
Hello.
it's going to be weird this week. I don't have a headset, so I just have to use my phone's microphone. So this is a whole new thing for me. It's going to be
It's a
weird.
whole new world.
Oh, and we're already getting started with the karaoke. Nice.
Nothing wrong with getting started with karaoke.
Paying
How are you
tribute
guys?
to One Wing Day on the weekends.
You guys okay?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, we're all fine.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay. You want to know why?
Why?
Because I had to watch Triple H and Undertaker for this episode. That's
I'm
why I'm not
sorry.
okay.
Hey, wordless aggression error. Kinda, not really.
Kinda. I don't know if they ever face off in that particular era. They
They
faced
were
off like the
there.
night before it started, but I don't think they ever faced off against each other. But yeah, they were definitely there. But God, that match. Ugh.
I guess with we already know where that review is gonna fall. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the Showdown from Down Under, Saturday Super Showdown. The big, some people call it glorified house show. Some people call it a pay-per-view. I guess since there's no other pay-per-views for the men, at least this month, I will consider it a pay-per-view. And we start off with the Bar versus the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship.
They don't set the bar, they are the bar.
Every time they say that, I can't help but think about the Ford commercials because that's we aren't the bar, we set the bar, or we, however the Ford commercial goes.
Yeah, I've seen those commercials.
Pretty decent match, nice opener. I missed like the first few minutes of it, waiting for the network to load. I mean, it's the bar and it's the New Day. Um, the bar ends up losing, of course, to the New Day. Um,
New Day rocks. New Day rocks.
they both got decent reactions, more so, of course, for New Day in Australia. Um, Pretty good opening match. Looking at the card, like I don't know what else you would have put on first to get the crowd hyped. Pretty good opening match. There was no pre-show here, so there was nothing on a pre-show, which actually means later in the card we get the cruiserweight making a main show. Pretty solid match. Nothing. I mean, it's as much as good as they are. It's we've seen this match a lot.
Yeah, this is a match I'm getting tired of seeing already.
Yeah, but it ends with Kofi pinning Cesaro to retain. Uh, Again, it wasn't a bad match at all. It's just a very tiresome matchup. And then we go right into Matt. Did you catch this match, or is it one that you skipped?
It's one that I skipped.
Well, I know one you didn't skip, and it's the very next. Any other thoughts on that match before we move on? I'll take that as a no. So we move right along to the most anticipated, and I mean anticipated match on the card. Charlotte Flair taking on the Queen herself. Sorry, had to. The SmackDown Women's Champion, Straight Fire, Becky Lynch.
I'm ready to hear Matt's take on this match.
And anytime Becky Lynch go has a match, Matt always goes first. So Matt, have at it.
Yeah, because I have a lot to say about not necessarily this match in particular, but more so the finish. I thought the match was pretty good for the most part. I think their Hell in a Cell match was a bit better, but this was still pretty good. However,
Whoa, whoa!
I have
Before you get started, I have something to say. Sorry, I'll the Ruthless Aggression podcast about the finish.
about the finish. It makes sense from our storyline standpoint and where they're going with it to Evolution. With that said, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And it's like, and here's the thing: like, I don't hate the finish in theory. I hate how it was done because for some reason, and I have no idea why, and this just out of nowhere. But starting on this show, they started booking Becky like a cowardly heel, and it makes no sense at all.
For those that unfortunately lean for us to give what happened, Becky got fed up and she went to get her title and she was just going to leave. Charlotte dragged her back into the ring, went for the figure eight, and the belt was still in the ring and Becky's reach. Becky grabbed it and didn't even really hit Charlotte with it. It was more like I've had a fly land on me harder than Becky hit Charlotte with that belt. So Charlotte retains by Becky retains. Charlotte wins by disqualification.
It basically proves one thing. It basically proves one thing by having it be that way, by booking it that way. It just shows that creative doesn't care what the fans think. And if they thought that the fans had a backlash to them turning Becky heel in the first place, it's going to get a lot of booking Becky like a generic cowardly heel. They don't understand that one of the reasons that Becky is so over right now is because she's not a generic cowardly heel. She has an edge, but she wasn't necessarily a heel, even though they were positioning her as such. But now they're making her a generic cowardly heel. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. You've been doing this for 2 freaking months. It's not working. It's not going to work anytime soon. They need to do a double turn. And I know I sound like a broken record at this point in time, but it's what they need to do.
Anybody got some Xanax on standby for Matt? Like anybody?
Man, like this whole thing it just annoyed me, like even more so than they did when they first turned her heel. Just man, like, all right, this is one of the dumbest decisions that W has done in quite a long time, and I genuinely think that this will go down as one of the worst, or at least one of the worst executed heel turns in WWE history.
It's gonna take a lot more than that to get to that point.
If they keep
really
going the way that
mind.
they're going, it will.
Yeah, if they start getting dumber and dumber with it, like it could just, it would be
which they will
on the list. But I really don't mind because yeah, it was kind of I don't want to say cowardly heel like you would normally think. To me, it was more of a Becky's like, bitch, I worked too hard for this title, and you're not going to get it from me that easy. Like it kind of works both ways for this show, my biggest gripe were the actual. She didn't like hit her in the head with the same kind of out of position, and there were a couple little love taps, and I think it was mainly with the strap of the belt, like just barely grazed Charlotte on the abdomen, and the ref called for the bell. That was visually, that was just so bad looking. But this is and there's a story to be told there. Like, you want to talk about bad decisions. I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but a lot of people do. And as long as Roman's being booked the way Roman's been booked, yeah, Becky's got a hill to climb to be the biggest mess up. But like, if you're gonna go that route, like hit her in the damn face with the belt, make it clear. Like,
Yeah, I
but
don't know. I don't know what they did. They just really just I don't know. It was the finish I didn't care for. It was they could have done better.
even down under, Becky got louder pops than Charlotte. It was a good match, decent match. The finish was just, I think we can all agree, like that finish was just horrible. Just, it sets up what we're going to talk about later, but it was just so, eh,
It
but
was
good
meh.
match.
It was there.
Yeah, very Craig 5 zeros from Kate side, like meh. And I won't even say anything bad about Charlotte during this match. I mean, it was a decent match. Just that ending, so much about that ending was just off putting,
to say the least.
to say the least.
And then
Uh,
what does that lead us to next?
oh, the big daddy of them all, John Cena and Bobby Lashley against Elias and Kevin Owens.
Okay, I got to say something.
Oh,
People have been making comment about how the way Cena wears his hair now looks a lot like JBL. And the problem is, I agree.
I don't see how
It's
that's a
midlife
problem.
crisis, Cena.
I really love the comparison to the old, not old, but when the Simpsons do flashbacks and Homer has hair. I like that comparison better.
Yeah,
Well,
like the
I
the
don't
hell to
watch.
pay segment, the hell to pay segment in Trials of Horror. I think it was nine. I think the ninth one that they did, where Homer gets Snake's hair transplanted onto him, and
Yeah,
he adopts Snake's personality. And I
yeah.
wish they would do that with John Cena. I wish they would do that storyline with John Cena, but he's filming movies now, so
Which didn't think about going into this match, but as soon as the match was over, like, oh, that's why this match was booked the way it was. Um, this match was, it was a way to get John Cena on the card. I guess for all four, but John Cena basically to be in front of an Australian crowd. Uh, it wasn't really a good match. It wasn't really bad either. Bobby Lashley does all the work for his team, and then at the very end, finally makes a tag to Cena, and Cena hits his. I guess we can't call him five moves anymore because he pulled out the lightning fist as his sixth move for the win. And then it dawns on you, oh, he can't take bumps because of movie contracts. He's still filming that movie in
so
China.
so Cena only did one move in the entire match. Just one move.
Who did?
Cena.
Well, depends on what you call a move, I guess. But he spent all of the last minute in the match.
I mean, I knew that Cena doesn't really care anymore, but God.
And I don't think it's him not caring. I think he like literally couldn't do anything, not for injury, but to not get injured. But this was Super Cena.
And if that was the case, why even have him there in the first place?
Right.
Like, just like have like Leo Rush teaming him or somebody like that.
Money. Straight money.
Without hair, I don't think so.
It's what we all kind of expected going into it. I really wish Elias and Kevin could have been paired up against a different setting, a different pair. But this is one of those matches where okay,
Predictable.
this was maybe just a glorified house show. That's not really a pay-per-view kind or style of match.
It was
And there's a
predictable.
yeah. And later when we get talking about Raw, will be my biggest gripe about this match, but we'll save that. Yeah, pretty bad match, pretty quick, pretty nothing to it. Oh, speaking of Matt goes first again. Unless you guys had any more thoughts on that match.
Nope. As I said, it was predictable, so I really didn't pay that much attention to it.
We all three, I'm sure, correctly guessed the winner of that one. The next match. And I know they go by the Iconics. I don't give a damn. To me, they're the Iconic Duo. So it's the Iconic Duo against Asuka and Naomi. And I was dead wrong on this one, but we'll let Matt go first.
The WWE finally did the right thing with the Iconics, and they let them win in their home country. They finally let them win. And what do they do with the Iconics after this win? After this big win? They're not even on SmackDown the following Tuesday. Way to go. Way to go. But yeah, like, as far as the actual match goes, I'll be honest, it wasn't very good, I don't think. I don't know. For me, it felt really rushed, I thought.
Agreed.
Excuse
It wasn't
me for the hiccups, folks.
Uh-oh. That last hiccup, I think I smelled vodka and pineapple or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't a good match. One of the coolest parts is Asuka's hair glows during Naomi's entrance. Like that was pretty neat. Like it was
I did like that.
just happened, I guess by accident, but it glowed. And then I saw some things which I kind of thought during the show, but after the show, some like, oh, they should have put Asuka's robe, like had some glow in it. But once they get to the ring and the glow's still going, half of Asuka's hair glue, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, I can't really say much for the glow and everything because when I watch it, I have to actually close my eyes because it does cause my migraines to go off.
Oh yeah. But and as soon the Iconics come out first, and of course, what do they have? Microphones. And the whole time I'm like, Matt, hey, told you, they're gonna come out and cut a heel promo. They're gonna, but they didn't. They cut a promo. It just wasn't shitting all over Australia the way I thought they would. And so once they put the microphones down and Asuka and Naomi came out, like, well, they have a chance. And then they high fived the crowd, the ringside crowd as they're leaving, which I thought was pretty cool. Truly babyface.
Well, I'm surprised that WWE actually booked them to win in their own home country because most of the time, some of the wrestlers can't even win in their own home city.
Yeah, that's it was just
It
like I'll
does
take.
feel like they're sort of not doing that as much nowadays. Like it used to be that they did it all the time, but now it feels like they are starting to let people win in their hometowns more, which is the right decision.
Yeah, like it.
Because I think the idea is that they want it to get heat, but it never really does. It just gets silence.
Like
Pretty
we've
bad
got right
match.
now. Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't. I kind of glossed over this match as well.
but
But
it.
then I'm going to get heat for this, but I'm not a big fan of Naomi's.
I'm not that big of a fan of Naomi's, and I definitely don't like Asuka. Like not current Asuka. Loved Kana in Japan, but then they're really gonna have to retool Asuka for me to start liking her again. Which I think they're kind of trying to do. It's just right now it's I'm still meh.
I think she could benefit from a heel turn.
Yeah, she was much better in NXT.
Yeah.
Until it became about the streak, and that's when I don't like streaks being your character, and that's what it became, all about the streak. And she left NXT without losing her streak, and it just I could probably do a whole podcast of reasons why I don't like that kind of stuff. But since we have two more events to talk about, we'll hurry along, Sloan. Next, we have a WWE Championship match. AJ Styles, champion, against Samoa Joe.
Another one that is getting too predictable and I do not want to ever see for a long time.
And this was a no DQ, no count out match, or was this just straight up? I can't. It had to be submission or pinfall, or am I?
I can't remember. That shows you how interested I was in the match. Because I've seen this match so many times. You just kind of zone out when you see a match too many times and
Too many limes, too many limes. Sorry, bad Sheamus joke.
very bad. But that's one of the reasons we love you.
But AJ retains by after just destroying Joe's legs and finally hitting the calf crusher, killer, but they call it the calf crusher in WWE, and making Joe tap. Great match, great. Even though we've seen it time and time again, to me this might be their best match in the series. Like they really brought it. Uh, Joe seemed desperate, like he kind of saw like, okay, this is my last chance. AJ's still doing AJ things and realizing like, if I can win one more, if I can beat him one more time, then maybe I can move on away from him. Really good match.
And I think this is one you missed, isn't it, Metal Matt?
Yeah, I didn't see the Styles and Joe match.
They just kept going back and forth with um, Joe put Styles in the cocoon clutch twice, and it's just a very solid match, solid storytelling in a match. Um, and AJ tried the whole pinning Joe in a cocoon clutch, and Joe this time like, oh, I got to kick out. My shoulders are down. Real good match. If there another match later on didn't happen, and this still might be my match of the night. It was been done to that death, like AA is saying, but at the same time, like it still delivered in my opinion. Oh God, now I have to talk about this next match.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins versus the Riot Squad.
There's not much to talk about.
Uh, the only thing I'll say about this match, A, it wasn't a good match. B, they're making excuse me, they're making Brie knocking out Liv 2 weeks ago storyline now because they tried doing it on purpose this match. And Australia pretty much hated Brie.
Uh,
But
I'm
what
I'm just getting tired of the Bellas.
getting, I've
Yeah,
no,
that's what I was about to say as well. I've been tired of them for a long time since they debuted, really.
yeah, there's nope.
And guess who's getting a Raw Women's title shot at Evolution? Spoiler: it's not Sasha, not Bailey, not Ruby Riot.
And speaking of endings of matches that you just Ronda and the Bellas go over, but by Ronda giving a double armbar, not to one opponent, like both the arms, like nothing like that, like a single armbar to two opponents at once.
Well, of course, because they have to book her like a monster.
And let's just ruin a whole bunch of shit while we're at it. Like that, I don't. I mean, everybody going in, Ronda's not losing. The only question was, do the Bella twins turn here, or when's that gonna happen? That was the only question going into this match. But then you get that as the finish. Come on.
Yeah, I really think Ruby needs to be pushed. She
Oh,
really does.
absolutely agreed.
But I knew they weren't going to let Rhonda and the Bellas lose in Australia.
No. And here lately, Ronda's arm bars are just sloppy as can be. Like even this one, like I see what they were trying to go for visually, but I mean it. You had two people basically lying on the mat. Just you could tell, just acting in pain of oh my god, this hurts so bad. Tap tap tap. Because there's no torque, there's no anything, and she did that during her Hell in a Cell match. Like it's just, which I would rather her do it that way than make it look more dangerous and actually hurt somebody. Alexa Bliss.
I got a question. Did Morris watch Super Showdown?
Yes, ma'am.
What did he think of that match?
He and this isn't daddy influence. He didn't like it. He doesn't like Ronda or the Bellas.
Okay, I was just curious to see what it's
Yeah,
like through a child.
yeah. He likes Ruby. He's not really sure. He likes Liv's Blue Tongue and Sarah. He just doesn't get. I guess Sarah Logan. But yeah, I woke him up 4 o'clock in the morning. We watched this live. He fell asleep right before the main, and then we watched that when it came on later in the day. Yeah, we were up 4 o'clock in the morning watching it live,
Well, I'm
making
I'm glad
egg.
he enjoys it as much as his daddy does.
Yeah, but he doesn't dislike Ronda as much as I do. But the whole Bella thing with Ronda, he just doesn't like it. He doesn't dislike Ronda a lot. He doesn't like them together. He liked Nikki for a while, and then he just for whatever reason started not liking her either. But he's never liked Brie.
Like father, like son.
Hey, I try to play it fair. Like I don't put anything into his head or anything. He can like who he likes. He can like who he doesn't like, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like he likes some people that I can't stand. The Bellas are not one of those people. Okay, let's see. What's after that atrocity of a match? Oh, speaking of from earlier, the cruiserweights made it onto the main card. Alexander defends his cruiserweight championship against Australian's own Buddy Murphy.
And I miscalled this one.
Yeah, I did as well
I can't
because
remember.
I wasn't expecting Murphy to win.
I can't remember if I missed. I think this is one of those matches like it's Australia. Buddy Murphy's Australian. I can't remember off the top of my head what I ended up going with.
You went you went with the winner
Oh, looky there. I is smart.
because you had to be
Fan-
different.
Fantastic match. I mean, they really and the crowd was really behind both of them. Good match, good to great match. They've had better on 205 Live, but really solid match. And Buddy Murphy does win, and the GC Never mind. Australia went crazy for it.
Of course, it was their from their country.
Yeah, hometown boy comes home and does well.
Yeah, it was a really good match.
Yeah, it really was. We expected it going in, and it's Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
I
Because I
enjoyed
know,
it,
because I know that they wrestled on house show here, and it was really good. So
and I don't watch a lot of 205, but I enjoyed
same
this
here.
match.
I'll watch a 205 live match like if it starts really getting talked about, like a couple of theirs had, like the one with the steps and the moves off of like steps on top of the table and like so I'll go check that stuff out. But it was a really fun match. Really, um, it was kind of, I don't want to be too hyperbole about it, but it's what some of the other championship matches throughout the last couple months, since this is also a rehash match, could have been, should have been. But just really cool that they got to a not be on the pre-show, not be people either filing in or filing out of SmackDown to be taped, like they got to perform in front of all those people. That's got to be really cool for those guys, especially Buddy, that being his home country and all.
Oh yeah.
But even for Cedric, like that's got to be a cool experience for both because they're both good guys. Really fun match. This is in my running for match of the night.
Well, I just know I enjoyed it, and I'm not. And as I said before, I don't watch a lot of 205.
And if their intention was, because if you see the match that preceded this and then the match that came after, this was intended to be a cool down match. No, this was not a cool down match. This was like, holy shit, the crowd's electric now. Because before the match, we had the Ronda match, which to me, in the spot of how everything worked, the Ronda match would come across as the cool down match because really not too many people were into that match in the crowd. Like it
Murphy did
wasn't
get a
edge of
huge
your
pop when he won.
Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
I hear what you said. Yeah. Oh yeah. He got a ginormous pop, and that also leads to the Cedric Alexander era on 205 Live has finally come to an end, which it needed to. They desperately needed to change up that landscape. Just like anybody holding a title too long, like AJ's held the title too long, like that needs to come to an end. If nothing else, just for different ways of going along or about storyline stuff.
Yeah, it's You're right about AJ. He does need to drop the title.
And after the cruiserweights, we have the Shield versus Dogs of War.
Sierra Hotel.
India. Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield. That entrance was fantastic.
I loved their masks.
Oh, yeah, let's start with their mask. Yes, and we're not talking like the death mask before. These were new. That was badass. And this time they all came out. They come out through the crowd, but they all come out of their own entrances, their own tunnel.
Yeah.
That was. It took them forever to get to the ring.
They had a lot of crowd of people to get through.
Yes, everybody clamoring for Shield.
That just shows you how beloved they are.
Definitely, definitely. I wasn't sure with it being that big of a stadium. Like I figured they'd come through the crowd, but I thought maybe they would already be like maybe come from backstage, like into the crowd. But no, they started way up there, and how they individually did it just made it even better. Like they weren't all three together.
And they added their own little touches to them. So you knew that was definitely Dean. That was definitely Seth. That was definitely Roman.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then they finally make it down their tunnels and down their respective steps and make it to the floor, and just crowd of people, and they finally meet up, and then it takes them like another 5 minutes just to get from the floor audience to the barricade, and people just going ape shit.
Oh yeah.
The mask were a fantastic touch.
And with the hoodie with the hood pulled up really made Dean look really sinister.
Yeah, like yeah, that's we're not going to go back to like John Moxley stuff, but that's might be the most badass I've seen Dean in WWE.
In a
Like
long
he,
time.
yeah, at least in a long time. Like that was a badass look.
Because he had that badass look when they first started out and they were heels and he had his hair slicked back. And that
Oh
look he
yeah,
had.
yeah. But I like the short haired Dean, and then you have the hoodie. Like man, I'm just here to kick ass. Like
I'm not even going to take names. I'm just going to kick ass.
yeah. I don't give a shit about bubblegum. I don't care about your name. I just want to kick some ass. It's been a while since that Dean's appeared. Um, Unfortunately, like this was a decent match.
But it
Um,
wasn't their best.
yeah, I was expecting a little more. Like it was like again, it was decent. It was good, but it wouldn't. It's not in my contention for match of the night like the two previous match of the night candidates.
Well, I think Ziggler, even though he can sell, I think he kind of put a damper on the whole match. And I do like Ziggler, but
Oh, so you're the that one person.
there are other people who like Ziggy.
I would have to give you a hard time.
I know. But he just seemed to put a damper on it. Because you knew he was going to be the one that was going to get pinned.
The whole Dogs of War thing, like it worked for like maybe a temporary come together, but they just don't work as a unit. Like I guess WWE's trying to sell us on. They just don't work well together.
They don't have that natural chemistry between them.
Yeah, I mean, just when Dolph and Drew were getting their footing, in the chemistry together department. Okay, well, here's Braun. For no reason, here's Braun.
Let's throw
And
Braun in the mix.
yeah, and it just, it's not working for me.
And it kind of, with him needing Drew and Ziggler's backup, it kind of takes away from the monster.
Yeah,
He should be able to handle all three of the Shield by himself with no problem.
or at least want to try.
Yeah,
Like, he shouldn't be. And this is what irked me in end of 2015, maybe beginning of 2016, when they started tagging Kevin Owens. Like, Kevin Owen, he has no friends. He doesn't want friends. He's not here for friends. You don't put Kevin Owens in a tag team for any reason.
right. He was a prize fighter. He was out to win.
Yeah,
It by any means necessary.
yeah,
Thank
and,
you,
and
Titus.
that,
I got that from Titus Machiavelli. So shout out to Titus Machiavelli, the evil genius in RMP, for that phrase.
it just, and this goes back to a few matches just during this event of how you're um, limiting, or I'll go and say it, like castrating some of your characters, and that even goes for a woman can't be castrated, but like a character, like you're just complete. You're trying to tell this story, but at the same time, this the mid story you're trying to get to this end story. That mid story isn't adding up.
Yeah.
Matt, did you skip this match?
Yeah, I skipped the match.
How dare you? Well, this will be Matt's last VWP appearance. Um,
No, it will
one of the
not.
one
Coming
of
from
the
a coming from a very massive Shield fan, just because he skipped the match means he'll still be with us.
I would,
Hooray!
if you skip a Shield match, you not one of us, not one of us, not one of us.
He's one of us.
I did the opposite. One of us. Yeah, Matt's always gonna be here. I don't really blame you for skipping it. Like, I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I wasn't invested in the Shield, it would have been a match probably would have skipped myself. Like, this is again one of those matches. Like, this might be just a glorified house show.
Yeah.
A decent match, good match. Right under some of the matches I have higher ranked for the night. Oh God, then we go to Daniel Bryan versus The Miz for number one contender for the WWE Championship. And I'd be damn if we're going to talk longer about this match than it actually went on. This match lasted 2 minutes and 28 seconds. Daniel Bryan wins by a schoolboy. Schoolboy roll up.
That's not going to set well with Miz. But then, of course, Middle Matt doesn't care.
Oh, right.
It was 2 minutes and good.
Matt's
I
Matt.
don't.
If the
Thank
Iconics
God,
wouldn't have
though.
won earlier, this was match of the night.
Like, thank God that the Australian fans didn't have to sit through a 20-minute Miz match. They are so very lucky.
There's really not much to talk about this match. Like, how much can you dissect a 2 minute match?
You really can't. It's just it's done.
The
It's over
only
with.
I'll say this much. Somebody brought up a good point later Saturday that this match wasn't cut short. This match was intentionally short so the main event could have as much time as they wanted. And unfortunately, they did. We move on to the main event. Triple H with Shawn Michaels in his corner against The Undertaker with Kane in his corner.
Oh yes.
Shout out to Kane A. Knight for doing the times on this. Bell to bell, this match was roughly 24 minutes. But overall, with entrances and everything else, this match was 53 minutes long.
Yeah, they all have to do those long, massive entrances, especially Triple H and the Taker.
I see both sides of the fence on this. Like it was a slow, plodding, old school kind of match, but at the same time, this match was not good. It
Yeah,
was, but it
this.
wasn't.
Yeah, this match sucked. It
Uh,
really did suck. I used to think that their WrestleMania 27 match was the worst match that they had together. This takes the cake.
oh, right before the match begins, it gets told to us at home and the live crowd that it's now a no disqualification match. And as soon as they announced that, I slapped my forehead like, oh, son of a bitch. Like, this is about to be what we thought it was going to be, but now, like, to the umpteenth degree.
It's really sad to say that Shawn Michaels looked to be in the best shape of all of them, or better shape, I should say.
Oh, he has been for a few years ago when he was supposed to make that comeback and got into really good shape, thinking Vince had plans for him, and then he just showed up for an appearance. Like, dude is still in good shape, like minus the hair now, of course, but Shawn is in great shape. Kane's in good shape, but this match just oh, it's exactly what you would think a 2018 Triple H versus Undertaker match would be. Uh,
Undertaker should have really retired after he was beaten by Roman.
Yeah, I mean this match was just, it was so slow. It was so tedious, and it almost felt kind of pretentious in a way in regards to like the length and just trying to make like an epic match. Like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that, but it just kind of felt like, I don't know, like they were sort of in over their head, as it were.
this is exactly what they would have done to sell tickets at a house show.
Mm-hmm.
Like a bigger arena, like you're not going to come around. Like you don't need that kind of marquee match to sell tickets around here. But say like a bigger arena, Madison Square Garden or something like that that you want to sell out. and it not be televised. You promote a Triple H and Undertaker match. But damn, you took up all that Monday Night Raw TV time for that.
Well, the problem I see with the Undertaker Triple H match is they both work slow. There was no variation. It was kind of reminded me of Michael Myers stalking someone,
Well,
but it wasn't
like
scary.
yeah, Michael Myers like escaping the nursing home, trying to stalk somebody. Maybe you get back here. My walker only goes so fast. Shit, I forgot my knife. Hold on, gotta go back get my knife. It just I see why they did it, and we all knew what was coming next, and that would be DX versus Brothers of Destruction. And the crown jewel that was just riding on the wall.
Oh, yeah, bring Michaels out of retirement. And
I'll get to my feelings about that on the Raw recap. Which, speaking of which, overall grade for this show or thoughts or
Mm, based on what I saw of it, I would give it C minus. I mean, aside from Taker and Taker Taker and Triple H,
oh,
starting
if
to have
are we
I'm starting to have
rehashing Taker
SummerSlam
versus
94.
Taker again?
I was starting to think of SummerSlam 94 there. But yeah, aside from Taker and Triple H and Iconics match, there weren't really any bad matches aside from those. Like, it was just it was pretty much the show I thought it was going to be, which was
Yeah,
a glorified house show.
I went in with no expectations because I thought the same. Like it's just going to be a wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, watch wrestling at an ungodly time, like I do with New Japan, and just have fun with it. And for the most part, it was a pretty fun show. Um, it did have its bad times, and it was pretty fun. Like I don't regret waking up at that time. And depending on what, sometimes I regretted it. Like why the hell am I awake? But overall, like I'm glad I watched it.
nah, I give
But
it about a C.
overall, I'd probably go B just to be nice. And like the bad parts were really bad, but the fun parts were really fun. So B. Hey, you got the raw card ready for us?
I got the Raw card ready. It's ready to go.
Noise. I'm gonna mute myself real quick while you get it started.
Okay. The biggest thing about Raw, of course, was Dean walking out. That seems to be all anyone can talk about. And his line of what he said in the post interview, he doesn't feel like he fits in anywhere anymore. So it's hard to say what they're going to do with that. That's how they're going to split up the Shield. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, if he just kind of walks away for a bit and sort of finds himself in singles action, I'm fine with that. As long as it's not a nasty breakup like last time, I think it will be fine.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the APA when they each went their own way.
I'm not sure I trust WWE to tell that kind of story. That would be my, if you're going to go that direction, that'd be the direction I'd want you to go in. But then I saw something that I've been pondering about. Like, what if this is all a trap to break up Dogs of War? Like, we're going to make y'all think we're dysfunctional, but at the same time, we're going to show you you are because one of y'all is going to turn on the other. I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, and but that's the big talk that was taken away from Raw, I think, because that seems to be all anyone can talk about. And I don't think Dean should have taken the pin. I think they should have win, and 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 then work on the Dean. Give me my Dean McIntyre feud. That's the feud
Now,
I want.
yeah. Now I want a character named Dean McIntyre.
Dean McIntyre.
I might have to do a create a wrestler in 2K and name him Dean McIntyre.
That might
Well,
have to be a creation I do on 2K19 in honor of this idea.
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, give him characteristics of both.
Yeah, I can try and do that after the podcast.
Nice. We want pictures.
We want results.
Yes, that, I would definitely send them your way.
The other thing big coming out of Raw is, and let's go back to Super Showdown and this Ronda Rousey Bella Twins bullshit. I could see what, I guess, because it's an Australian show, but what better time than in front of 62 to 70,000 people, whatever the actual attendance was. Turn the Bellas there. They turned the Bellas on Ronda Monday.
Well, they had to do it that way so they could rehash that match from Super Showdown on Monday night.
Just, uh, please,
I
please,
mean,
go ahead.
oh, you can go.
Just the sooner the Bella Twins get off my screen, the better.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think the reason they turned them on Raw rather than at Super Showdown is because I feel like nowadays WWE is way more invested in TV rather than pay per views or special events or anything like that.
I mean, they did give a hint at it at Super Showdown at the beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
match of who's gonna go first, and Nikki and Ronda. They didn't really get in each other's face, but I want to go first. No, I'm going first. No, I want to go first. No, I'm going first. Like
Mm-hmm.
the hint was dropped right there, but this goes into the rehashing of matches.
Right. I mean, it's like like go on the network, like buy the network 9.99 so you can see his matches. Never mind. We'll give them away for free just a
Yeah.
couple nights later.
Not only will
You're
we
Yeah.
give the
welcome.
matches away, we're gonna give like the big thing away. Which I mean, they do make more money off of TV than the network, but still,
But after that, Let's see.
Oh,
Um,
and real quick, it was shortly announced. Like, oh, dang it, they had it really planned because the very next. Oh, now we're gonna have Nikki Bella um, Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Champion at Evolution. They had a graphic
Which
ready and everything. Like, huh? Funny how that
which
works.
in which in storyline, what has Nikki Bella done to earn a title shot?
It just
being a Bella.
Yeah. I mean, it was so bad. I thought this was SmackDown for a second. Paige getting her
yeah,
own title
I was
shot.
waiting. I was waiting for the dig. I was waiting for it. Paige ran both shows this week, at least for a little bit. You get an opportunity. You get an opportunity. You get an opportunity.
In addition to being the Bella, she might also be a Flair as well.
Oh damn, damn. I see. And before, in case that came out wrong or somebody doesn't understand it, Matt's talking about Charlotte Flair getting title opportunities again and again for no reason. Has nothing to do with Rick. So
Not at all. She got herself and Becky counted out. That was her own fault. She goes to the back of the line. We get
hey,
somebody
you're
new
jumping the
challenging for
line.
the title.
That happens tomorrow. That doesn't happen yet.
What?
Not in our reviews. Uh, but this was a very fun Raw.
Yeah, I
Like I
mean,
really like this.
it was pretty solid.
Well, I
You have
kind of like the match that they did that Baron Corbin was going to try to get into the Crown Jewel tournament.
Los Conquistador.
I knew instantly that the Conquistador was Kurt Angle. I knew it.
I only guessed because of a report that came out earlier, but he did a really good job not looking like
Yeah.
like because when he GM, like he can, he barely can hold his legs up, like he's half bent at the knees. He did a really good job of selling. Like if I didn't read that report earlier in the day, like I maybe would have wondered a little bit more. But he looked like he was having fun doing it.
Especially getting one over on Corbin.
Finally,
It did feel like he was in better shape than he has been.
yeah. But if the reports earlier were like a 90% or 80% confirmation, once he hit that first German suplex, that's Kurt Angle. Then the second, then the third, then the Angle slam. Like, that's definitely Angle. That was so great.
I love when he revealed himself to Corbin and Corbin's look. He sold it so well.
Yes. For those, since we're like, we do this every week when we review Raw and SmackDown. Like, we just talk about what we want to talk about. This was a World Cup qualifier for a tournament in Crown Jewel. And this was a battle royal to see who qualifies. And in the ring, you have 7 jobbers, supposedly jobbers. And Baron Corbin put on the match that it was, I said battle royal. And he was going to be the 8th man. And
He was
it was
going to
just
win
going to
it.
be,
He thought all
yeah.
these jobbers, he'd be able to win it, and it backfired.
And Kurt Angle pulled an Edge and Christian and Hardy's on us.
I mean,
And,
he was a member of Team Eck.
well, that's true.
And I'm not talking about
But he
Kevin
ended up,
Eck.
Well, yeah, but Baron thought he had the win, and the Las Conquistador fell under the bottom rope, like right at the beginning. And I love him doing the. He's sitting at the ring post doing the cha cha cha. Like that was fantastic. And knowing now for sure that it was Kurt Angle doing the little cha 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 thing, sitting on his butt, just was great. And Baron thinks he wins. Ring the bell, ring the bell. Oh, wait a minute, somebody wasn't eliminated, and here comes Los Conquistador. Eliminates Baron, then Baron gets back in the ring and mask, and it's Kurt Angle going on for the World Cup, which is, can we just call it the American Cup by now? Because so far that's all Americans.
It's the crown jewel, and it's going to mean pretty much nothing like what Braun won last year.
It just, I didn't. As soon as they came out with the World Cup title, or name, make it a true World Cup.
Well, what I think is make it like if you win the World Cup, you get a title shot. Have something tied to it other than just a cup.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with that too. But good grief, you have so much international talent on both rosters, and so far, we'll get to the SmackDown part later. But John Cena just, I guess, being John Cena, instantly won a spot on the Raw roster. There's going to be 4 from each roster that go on to Crown Jewel, and on the Raw roster, you have John Cena and Kurt Angle representing 2 of the 4 from the Raw roster. Both Americans.
Yeah. And so, as Mox said, we tend to jump around in Raw.
Oh yeah. There were a few other things I can't remember. I can pull it up real quick.
I've got it. What do you want to know?
There were some very fun things that happened. Shoot, I'm trying to remember from this week. I don't. Excuse me. Oh, this wasn't so much fun. But Bobby Lashley finally snapped, and they gave Leo Rush a live mic during Bobby Lashley versus Kevin Owens, which a lot of people didn't like. I loved it.
Did they learn? Did they learn nothing from Abraham Washington?
How dare you compare Abraham Washington to Leo Rush? How dare you, sir? This was it was just great.
At least Leo Rush did not mention Kobe Bryant anywhere.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's always. I almost want to crack the door open real quick because my wife's a Lakers fan and I can't. I despise them, and I'm so tempted to turn around and open the door. And by the way, the Lakers suck, and shut the door right behind me.
You don't want to do that to your beautiful wife.
Nah.
LeBron's gonna bring.
Oh,
LeBron's
God.
gonna bring the Lakers back to full strength.
You just went from bad to worse. Kobe's not that bad. Kobe just happened to play for the Lakers. LeBron. Are we gonna do a basketball podcast?
it just turns into an NBA podcast out of nowhere.
Like an RKO.
Comes out of nowhere.
But Lashley finally snaps. He wins the match. He wins the match. Still not dealing with Kevin Owens. and keeps attacking Kevin Owens. I don't think this was a Kevin Owens face turn, as much as we know for sure it was definitely a Bobby Lashley Leo Rush heel turn. Like that has to be a given. We'll see about Kevin Owens, but um, and Kevin Owens is apparently having knee surgery, so which didn't happen here. He needed it before. Like
Yeah, I
Lashley didn't
mean,
shoot hurt him
eh,
or anything.
yeah, and there's a couple things I have to say about that. It's like, why didn't they use the Quinn angle as a way to write him off so he could get the surgery?
Right.
And in terms of the surgery itself, there's different things going around. One saying that it's just a minor surgery; he shouldn't be out for long. But also, they're saying they won't know the severity of it until they actually do the surgery. So
Yeah, knees are
hopefully he
funny
won't be
like
out
that.
too long.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, hopefully he won't be out for too long.
Yeah. Um, and we didn't find out until later, like he was like shoot hurt. But let just for the sake of this, the match itself, I don't see that making Kevin a face per se. And I hope to God he does come back as a face because I've been dying for face Kevin Owens for a while.
I hope he doesn't turn face. To be honest, like it feels like one of those things where, in theory, it works, but I don't know. I really can't see Owens as a face.
I don't want
But
like pure baby
right,
face Owens. I
mm-hmm.
want like it's okay to cheer him like cleaner, if you will, or even anti-hero kind of like it's all there, and he has the chops to pull it off. Now the question is, how long is he going to be out, and how severe the injury is? Because if it works out, I don't want if it works out like it won't be long at all. But if something else, like if the timing of it came about, bring Kevin and Sammy back both his face.
Yeah, what's
I mean,
happened to Sammy lately?
he's injured. Like
Yeah,
both of his shoulders are injured.
yeah. He had double rotator cuff surgery.
Ooh, ouch.
He won't be back. The earliest is around WrestleMania.
But
He
Lashley turning heel is a good idea.
yeah, or if they don't come back as a face team, like face Kevin Owens versus Hill Sammy would be pretty cool.
I would want it to be the other way around. Have turned Sammy heel in the first place, but
Well, yeah,
that might just be me.
he worked it pretty well, and then you put him with no reaction Bob, and
I mean, it was interesting at first, purely for shock value. But I think once the shock value wore off, which was I thought pretty quickly, it just kind of got old after a while. I thought.
yeah, that initial is he turning heel or was he just looking out for his friend? Like that initial story was, but smug Sammy, bastard Sami Zayn is like even when he was a face, he was so smug about how he like. I mean, for one, he scars like anybody that scars, like you're a heel.
Well, he was funny. He was entertaining. He knew how to get the crowd in the palm of his hand. That's Sammy, that is.
Sorry, I had to go on mute again. Without having a headset, I'm scared of going in the house and where I can't just quickly mute and come back out. But and there's some more little things that happened. Oh, and then as memories telling me, you get stratisfaction.
You get a moment of stratisfaction.
Well, okay, before we get to the stratisfaction, we got Elias. Oh God, I love Elias so much. He didn't do anything, but he sang his song, played his guitar. Oh, so good. And Trish interrupted him.
Everyone likes interrupting Elias.
And even like the live crowds, they I don't want to say they fall for it every time, but they will cheer the hell out of Elias. You know, and then walk with Elias until he shits on the hometown, and then it's boo. It works every night, every single night. And this week they were in Chicago, and they didn't really. I was waiting for a CM Punk chant or something, and we really didn't get that. But man, he dogged the Cubbies. He straight dogged the Cubbies, and they not quite the Seattle Supersonics levels of booze, but once he talked shit about the Cubs, it was booze until Trish's music hit. And then the funniest part was, you know, the camera goes to Trish coming out, and Elias is still sitting in the ring on his stool. And then when Trish makes it to the ring, Elias is nowhere to be found, no stool, no anything. And then before Trish can get two words in, Alexis's music hits.
But of course,
And Alexa and Mickey make their way down, and who comes to make a save?
Lita.
Lita. Lita. My all-time favorite.
Oh, she is, huh?
Where have you been? Yeah, I love me some Lita. I don't want her. I don't. I'm so torn on wanting to see her wrestle versus just taking care of herself. And what sets up, which was, in fact, they already announced Trish versus Alexa is 1-on-1, and Lita versus Mickey 1-on-1, and now
It's a tag
we're gonna
team.
have, we're gonna have a tag team, Alexa and Mickey versus Lita and Trish at Evolution, which works for me.
Well, it'd be a nice fresh matchup.
I'm wondering. I do have some wonders on why they switched it to a tag.
Probably because of Alexa's injury.
Yeah, Alexa's injury, which that leads to like how bad is the injury? Um, I get they don't very often announce a match a few weeks ago and then flip it the way this was flipped. So I'm sure it's to protect all four wrestlers. Alexa's injury, Trish and Lita's ring rust, Mickey. I kind of dig it though. It gets, instead of having two singles matches for the sake of these quote unquote icons coming back.
I
Like at
mean,
least that.
there's only two icons.
Well,
I'll
but
leave it at that.
they work on Tuesdays, Matt. They work on Tuesdays.
Legends.
Yep,
But
they
this
are
kind of,
legend.
at least this kind of compacts it into one match. And if Alexa really is that hurt, like it protects her, and please, Lita, don't do your don't do stupid shit.
She will. She's got to get her spot in.
Oh,
You know she will.
yeah. Just hopefully something a little safer than onto the floor stuff. If you want to hit a swanton, to somebody in the ring or something, okay, but we don't need. Ah, let's see what else happened on Raw.
Want
I
to
think
know
that's
what else
pretty
happened on Raw?
sure.
Okie dokie. Let's see here. Um. Oh yeah, DX cut a promo.
Oh, well, yeah. They opened the show. Well, and going back to Super Showdown, Triple H came out, followed by HBK, and officially reformed DX and challenged the Brothers of Destruction for Crown Jewel.
Yes, because of lack of respect.
It's all about respect. It's not all about the game, it's all about respect. And
RESPCT. Find out what you mean to me.
the karaoke never stops around here, folks.
Yes.
And after commercial break, it's made official. We get DX versus Brothers of Destruction at Crown Jewel. Uh,
Oh yeah, how can we go wrong there?
of all the matches and all the wanting, and at the same time wanting HBK to stay retired, like this does not sit well with me, like at all. Pop a top,
Papa Top?
pop a
Papa
top.
top again.
Karaoke never stops around here. It just it seems so egregious, and I guess the longer I live, the more I know for a fact of something I've known since I was a kid. Money talks and bullshit walks,
Yeah.
and money talks.
Come, come on. Love for the money. Come on, come on. Listen to the money talk.
Your ACDC needs some improvement.
Yeah, it does. It really, really does.
Dude, I, then that's no fault of your own because that is a
I
hard.
was trying.
I
I was
know
trying. It did not work.
you did a lot better job than I could have, but he is such a hard person to replicate. Oh, good! Like he was a one of a kind voice. Anything else about Raw?
Let's see. What else about Raw, folks? We're coming down. Do 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 do.
Speaking of do, what the hell is a sharky do whatever? Anybody know?
No.
I have no clue.
Oh yeah, we have Ember Moon and Nia Jax.
Oh, they must have cut that from the Hulu version.
It was about 3 minutes long, and so and it was a pretty decent match.
I knew one thing that they cut from the Hulu version was apparently there was a backstage thing with Bailey and Finn that they didn't air on the Hulu version,
Yeah,
which
and then
is
there was the mix max mix mixed. Bleh.
mixed match challenge. I got you just like you got me sometimes. I got your
Okay,
back.
thank you very much. Which was Finn and Bailey taking on Mahal and Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox. They aired a match during Raw of the MMC.
Yeah, they did. They had a match and they ended up winning it.
Who did?
Mahal and Foxy are not on the same page.
Oh,
Balor and Bailey.
okay, that's something else they cut
They're,
from the Hulu version.
they're not on the same page. They're not even reading from the same book.
Dang it! I'm gonna have to go find that on YouTube or something because they cut that.
And then, of course, Gable gets his beat down from the authors of Pain.
They cut that as well. Or was Bobby Roode? From the Hulu version I saw again, and even from like reviews, a couple of those matches I didn't know happened. I knew the mixed match challenge match happened. I didn't, for whatever reason, had it out of my mind. It wasn't on Raw. Um, pretty good. If you can say good, I prefer fun. Pretty fun episode of Raw. Like it didn't lull me into a coma or anything. Like it was pretty good. I liked it.
I enjoyed it to a point, so I'll give it about a B minus.
I'll go B here.
What about you, Metal Matt?
On what?
What grade would you give this episode of Raw?
I would give it B minus, maybe C.
Okay, so you and I
Oh,
were thinking about the same.
Yeah, it was a pretty solid episode.
varying opinions. We can't have that. We have to be uniformed. Damn it! Somebody's turning heel. That's what trios do. Somebody has to turn heel.
Okay, so now we can move on to SmackDown and let Metal Matt talk about the opening of the show.
This match, this finish, this post match angle,
What match is
this
it,
match
Matt?
announcement. I mean, I think I like this one better than than a Super Showdown match, and as a matter of fact, I believe this surpassed their record. I believe. I think this is now the longest women's match on either Raw or SmackDown. I think so. I think I read that today.
So, who are we talking about?
Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's title. If Becky gets DQ'd, she loses the title, which is such an unfair stipulation, I might add,
I've
because
never heard of either one of
when
these people. Who?
when Becky was constantly getting screwed out of the title by Charlotte and Alexa, she never got a stipulation like that. But the second she turns the tables, she gets a stipulation out of nowhere. Unfair.
You gonna throw Paige under the bus real quick?
Still bitter about the Irish War of Independence. History lesson for the listeners out there.
And I guess we'll gloss over, excuse me, what came next, as it was
Well,
another
Charlotte and
episode. Huh?
Charlotte and Becky both got counted out. And Charlotte, being the sore loser she is, spears Becky through the wall, the LED wall.
And the wall stayed unfixed for the rest of the night. Because every time they went to the entrances, that's where my eyes went to, was to the hole in the wall.
I do that too. Like anytime
Um,
somebody goes through a screen or something, like my eyes always go to like, are they gonna keep it kayfabe? Not kayfabe, but are they gonna keep it like that, or are they gonna fix it? So my eyes always do the same thing. Like, nope. See, that's Charlotte put Becky through that wall. See,
people pay a lot of money to look at holes in walls.
They must.
hey, there was a game show called Hole in a Wall, so
There was?
yeah, and it's actually a pretty fun game show. You have to make the shape of the hole in a wall. Yeah, it started in the UK, I think, and came over here for a few years as the American version. Pretty fun game show. Not really relevant in conversation, except for anytime I hear a hole in the wall, I either think of
I think
a
I,
bar,
I
a
think
good
both of you
restaurant, or
I think both of you might have missed the joke, but we can just move on from that.
oh, what joke?
None. Don't worry about it.
No, what'd you say?
I mean, people pay good monies. People pay good money for holes in walls.
Oh, oh, that's not PG. That's not PG at all. That's man. It's not that I missed the joke. I just from you, I was not expecting it.
Matt's, Matt's mind went into the cesspool.
We have corrupted him, AA.
Not yet. Not yet. Almost.
He's getting there.
So slowly but surely he's getting there.
You two have warped my fragile little mind.
I tell you what, the match was okay. I don't I'm and not trying to like show bias here or anything, but like I get why the match was set up, and once that match was set up, you kind of saw the writing on the wall. You know, underneath the hole in the wall or above the hole in the wall that people pay good money for, you saw the writing. Oh, see, I used your joke. Never mind. Um,
Bad joke. Bad
yeah.
joke.
Put your kids to sleep,
Well,
people. But yeah, you kind of saw where this was going. Like it wasn't a if she loses by DQ or count out or anything like that, it was just strictly if she loses by disqualification, she loses the title. So that just says right there it's going to be a count out, probably a double count out.
Yeah, because, they got to carry it on into evolution.
Which, in my opinion, not biased per se, but in my opinion, if this is an all women's pay per view, the hottest rivalry going Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch should be the main event since it should have already been, but then they announced it's a last woman standing match. That should main event Evolution. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I absolutely agree.
I third that motion.
But it should also end this feud. Uh, I'll give my predictions. I guess before the week before, the Wednesday before the show, but this should also separate the two. Like, don't do a last woman standing match, and then November's pay per view, we're gonna rehash it again. But this absolutely deserves for every fiber in the wrestling quilt to main event that show.
Yeah, I agree. It should because there is a story there, a good one. But it should also
But
end at evolution.
yeah. Oh, Nikki and Brie turned on Ronda 3 weeks before. Like, so you're gonna because we all know that's gonna be the main event because it's Ronda.
And the Bellas.
Well, yeah, it's Ronda and the Bellas. So that's gonna make it. But if there was any justice in this world, a last woman standing match between the story they've been telling for months between Charlotte and Becky, if not years, because they are playing up of all these years of the story and the current story. Like it's the most deserving of the main event.
Well, moving right
My,
along.
sorry, my opinion, my little soapbox thing.
That's okay. We're going to go over this real quick because I know Metal Matt doesn't care about it.
Oh,
It was a Miz TV segment.
Every week it is every freaking week that they do this segment,
so every
and
week,
every week I
even
turn the channel. because I do not want to see a Miz TV segment.
So his guests were Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, and of course, the Miz is trying, as always, to stir up trouble between his guests on his show. They took a couple of nice pot shots at the Miz.
Oh yeah, they got the Miz good.
Yeah, taking some pot shots, you say?
Yeah, they did some snide
So
comments
they were
to the
performing
Miz.
at a. So would you say they were performing at a high level?
I knew you were going. I knew that's where you were going.
Oh, yes, they were. But they did make fun of the Miz. So,
Yeah,
especially
they got.
about the 2-minute thing.
Of course, Miz got the last laugh, but I really like this segment. This is where Matt and I might, in all of wrestling, disagree the most. Is I really like the Miz, and he really hates the Miz. That might be a another just a podcast of talking about the Miz. Oh, never mind you. You won't allow it.
I think it would be interesting to hear one standing for the Miz, one against the Miz.
I was in Matt's shoes like probably 5 years ago or so. Well, in fact, earlier in the podcast we brought up WrestleMania 27, and with the Triple H and Undertaker match, and Miz main evented that against John Cena. Miz had no business main eventing that match. He was, and I hated the Miz at that time as much as Matt hates the Miz now. Hated. You guys know I usually use the word loathe because I hate the word hated. Hey, I hate the word hated. Like I, but I could not stand the Miz for anything. And then about 2014, 2015, like, hey, he's not that bad. And now it's evolved into, oh, Evolution, December or October 28th, or yeah, it's the 28th anyway, Evolution pay per view. I evolved into like I really like the Miz.
Well,
And Matt's like, okay, now Mox is kicked off the podcast. Next
okay.
week, it's just gonna be AA from now on. Like we kicked each other out the podcast.
Moving on from the Miz, we had two qualifiers for the tournament. First, we had Jeff Hardy taking on Samoa Joe.
Jeff is back.
And he
And
still has his ears.
and Jeff ended up winning this because the referee stopped the match and declared Jeff the winner.
This ties into the AJ Styles Samoa Joe match at Summerfest Super Showdown of where apparently AJ Styles really worked over
His
the
leg.
lower body of Joe and his knees and stuff.
And it was a match. Wasn't it okay? It was definitely a Jeff Hardy match. Definitely Jeff Hardy. He looked good.
This is one of those matches where I thought Joe might win, but then when you look at what they're trying to put in place for Crown Jewel, like they won all the, and I don't mean this like in a offensive way or whatever, but they won all the old names. And when it comes to WWE, Joe's not an old name. Jeff Hardy is. Joe's been around for a long time, but he's not historically significant in WWE, where people remember Jeff Hardy from the Attitude Era. So,
And then the next one was Randy Orton taking on the Big Show. A match we've seen a dozen times.
and
And
this could have gone either way because they are both names that have been around for a while when it comes to WWE. So I wasn't. Whoever lost this one, they're going to be in a match somewhere else on the Saudi Arabia card, whether it be a battle royal or whatever.
well, Big Show lost this one to an RKO.
Finger poke into an RKO or eye poke. I mean, into an RKO.
well, of course, but then we're dealing with the Viper, so
Yeah, I love sadistic Randy Orton. I mean, I love Randy Orton. Period, but just vicious Randy Orton is so good.
and then we go on to the scandal.
Oh,
One night in Milwaukee. Instead of one night in Bangkok, it's one night in Milwaukee.
there's a lot of other ways you can go with that one night thing that I won't because excuse me.
Well, Bangkok came to my mind because I happen to like the song One Night
Oh
in
yeah,
Bangkok.
I know. But
And I can't sing, so that's why I don't do karaoke.
come on, Matt. Where are you at, Matt? Matt.
Boo.
Matt. You.
Trying to scare you.
Oh
Eek!
man.
Eek! Eek eek! Squeak!
um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, the storyline it's just not doing anything for me. It just isn't. Like I'm not invested in this storyline at all.
It fell flat on its face a couple weeks ago.
But when it started,
Yeah.
they just, it was the wrong story to carry out with this grouping of people.
And I said this in a review with you guys a couple weeks ago. Why do they always do this to Rusev and specifically Lana? Like, geez, Louise, is this And apparently, some people don't remember um, after the 2016 elections, and she hacked the New Day's Budio's recipe or whatever, like doing the whole Russian hacking thing, because everybody was like, "Oh my God, she's supposed to be Russian and she's a hacker. I can't believe they would do the whole." Um, they've done it like 3 times since the election.
Oh yeah, and it's just the storyline could be carried off, I would think, if it was a different trio doing it. But this trio just didn't have, to quote Jericho, it to carry it off.
Yeah, it. I don't know what, and I'm not a WWE apologist or a WWE writer apologist, but I'm also not like, oh, everything they do sucks. But at the same time, like, pick a different route than what you're doing on this one. You could have done so much better or something else. Not Lana, you know, propositioning Aiden. Not Lana hacking Aiden to finish the video, which we all knew. Like, he stopped it at the right moment before. Like, we all knew that, but then to add in the hacker aspect of it, like, it
Summer
just.
could have pulled it off better. Summer Rae.
A dead fish pulled it off better.
You had to bring up the dead fish.
Dog
Man,
Ziggler would have pulled it off.
Yeah, Dog Ziggler definitely would have pulled it off.
Rusev throwing the dead fish or cold fish, whatever. That was fantastic. But why they keep Rusev, Lana wrestling? Questionable. Rusev deserves so much better than,
Than what he's been getting.
yeah. And it seems like every time he's moving up, like Rusev Day. I mean, they had the calendars and the shirts and the merch and like in every crowd, Rusev Day, Rusev. And here we are. Just make them face, do whatever you want. Put Rusev and Lana back together, manager and wrestler. Roll with that for a little bit, and I bet you'll get a better response than what's going on. Like that kind of stuff irks me because Rusev's too good. Again, Lana's wrestling isn't that great, and that's being generous. But she does make a good corner person, a good manager. She doesn't have to, Machka, Rusev, Machka. She doesn't have to do all that, but she's does add an element to a match. And here we are again.
So what grade would you give this?
Me?
Yeah.
Uh, this is probably one of the lowest SmackDowns grade wise for me in a few weeks. I'd go C here.
Metal Matt?
I'd probably give this a D, maybe D minus. I wasn't crazy about this episode.
I give it a C.
This is just like with Super Showdown. where I try letting the good outweigh the bad, and this is one of those where the good or the fun parts of the show just didn't outweigh the bad. Like the bad was really bad. Like it weighed more on my weight scale to overcome a C. Like there was just too much bad in this. In fact, this is my first, probably, or I can't go back long enough where I'd rate a Raw better than SmackDown. But Raw was definitely, in my opinion, better than SmackDown this week. For me, Raw was just a fun show. SmackDown had trouble.
So that wraps up the post show of Super Showdown and Raw and SmackDown. What else have you been watching, Matt?
I recently watched NJPW Fighting Spirit Unleashed.
What did you think of it?
Um, I thought it was a pretty solid show. Way too many tag matches.
That's New Japan.
It just took me for a loop because I'm not really used to seeing all that on the weekly show Access TV. The United States style match was probably the weakest on the card. Juice Robinson should have retained, but a mid card title was more so Cody's speed. So main event was pretty good. I actually thought Ishii and Okada really clicked as a tag team. And Gorillas of Destiny winning the tag titles is awesome.
Oh, whenever you and I review a New Japan show, oh, we're gonna have some problems.
Oh, let's hear them.
Oh,
What do you mean?
what do you mean? Oh man, where do I begin?
At the beginning,
Ah, well, okay, then where exactly is the beginning?
where
Okay,
you feel comfortable.
Gorillas of Destiny. Like I don't mind them winning there per se, but good grief, I'm so over God. Like just so over them. Um, as much as I don't like Juice Robinson, I'd rather he had kept the title over Cody Rhodes in this aspect, especially what happened later. Um, Later in the show, Cody he doesn't interrupt the main event per se. He comes out and he's going to make the main event for King of Pro Wrestling, which happened Sunday, a triple threat. Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega versus Cody Rhodes.
Because of course Cody Rhodes is in the main event. Of course he is.
And do I sense a note of disdain there?
I just think that Cody Rhodes is so overrated on the Indies. So overrated. For me, I feel like Cody Rhodes, he is mid card at best. I think when he's in the main event, he's a bit out of his depth. I think, in my opinion.
I'll be honest. Cody Rhodes is main event promoting material. He's not main event quality match material. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's what he's saying.
Like he wait until you watch King of Pro Wrestling. Like that, which I it was a fun show. Like I really loved KOPW. Like fun show, really fun. Um, and I don't know how much they cut out of what you've been watching on Access, but now that you have New Japan, PW World, like if you're gonna watch their events, it's mainly tag team stuff, and a lot of it is just filler. You have to go get through the filler to get to the good stuff. A lot of, I mean, and it's not like usually typical tag team like two versus two. Like it's three versus three, four versus four. Even those can be good sometimes, but they do that every card. I love my New Japan, but I also where some people like, oh, they've never put on a bad card. Like bullcrap. They've put on if you some of the shows New Japan put on were in WWE, people would shit all over it, which they do. What's up with all these multi-person matches and tag team matches and New Japan does the same thing, even more so really. But in the next day or two, watch King of Pro Wrestling because even the tag matches on that are pretty fun. You're not gonna like what happens during one of the matches.
Which match?
Evil versus Zack Saber.
I swear, if Evil loses to Zack Saber Jr., it's bad enough he got pinned by him at Fighting Spirit Unleashed.
No, you're. I said I told you in the daily. You're really gonna hate the rematch. Like really gonna hate it. Just watch it. It's a hate and see where you're going kind of thing. But it's
I mean,
you're an evil fanatic,
mm-hmm.
so you're really gonna hate what happens.
I mean, I have heard who he's going to be facing next, and that should be interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Just watch the show and then send me all the text me all the cuss words that you say because I legit, dude, I was pissed. Oh, I was so aggravated. That was oh, and I see why things happened the way they did, but damn it, that doesn't mean I have to agree or like it. That was horrible. You watch any MOW?
Yep, watched the one from last Friday.
Was this the follow up, or was this the new episode from the War Games thing?
I think it was one of the final War Games portions of it. The main match on the show was Pentagon Jr. versus L.A. Park in the Mexican Massacre match.
Ah,
And it was pretty good. The winner was a bit questionable, but considering what they're going to be doing after this, I can forgive it. And they also announced a Halloween special because on October 26th, I believe, they're going to do a little Halloween special because that's when and Sammy Callahan and Jimmy Havoc spin the wheel, make the deal match airs.
nice. Hey, get your YouTube ready.
My YouTube's always ready.
Sammy Callahan versus Jimmy Havoc spin the wheel. That's something right up AA's alley.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, oh, that was kind of a pun that I didn't intend. Ambrose Alley, AA's alley.
Ellie, yeah.
And they already announced a new event, which is going to be Fightland in November.
Nice.
And they've announced, and it's going to end up being the Lucha Bros versus LA Park and Hijo de LA Park for the World Tag Team titles.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be Low Key defending the World Heavyweight title against Shane Strickland.
I like Shane.
I yeah. Not so much a low key fan like I used to be, and I don't know what happened with my fandom of low key.
I
But
like him,
I
but
like
that's maybe because of Selena De La Renta being at ringside. But
well,
that's neither here nor there.
yeah. I mean, they're and I know October 20th, Rocky Mountain Pro.
I had one more thing to say
Oh,
for
sorry.
Fightland, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Say it. Say it. Say it.
And
Say it.
we have a debut coming on there November 8th for Fightland. Somebody new is going to be debuting for MLW.
It better be you.
I wish. I wish. I would have no problem being managed by Selena De Arenta, but none other than Roosh is going to be debuting for MLW.
Oh yeah, I read that somewhere. Nice. Not to be confused with Leo Rush.
No, and I actually have gotten that confused.
Yeah,
Like, is it Leo Rush or is it Rush? I thought it was like the same person, but
yes,
it's
and
two
you're
different
not the only one.
wrestlers.
Some people, there's a difference between Leo Rush and all capital letters Roosh. Like they're big difference. Yeah, it's not Leo Rush. It's not the guy that talked all night on Monday Night Raw. He's a fun watch. If you haven't seen him before, it might take some time to get used to him, but he's a fun watch.
And Gangrel also appeared on the latest episode of MOW,
Gangrel.
accepting Simon Gotch's challenge, and ended up getting
Oh,
disqualified for biting him.
of course he would. I miss the Brood so much. The Brood were freaking awesome.
Dead air.
That thing, that theme song was great.
Well, their entrance was awesome.
Yeah, those are one of those times where you look at new people, and no offense to Gangrel, but you knew Ed and Christian were the stars.
Mm-hmm.
You could just tell, like, these kids are going places. I was hoping like all three of them would go places, but like Edge and Christian instantly stood out as, oh, that it factor everybody talks about. Edge and Christian had it. And then October 20th, don't we have some little thing called Chucktober?
October 26th.
26th.
Yeah, October 20th is a charged episode
Oh yeah, okay. Got my dates confused, and that's the charged RMP show you're not going to be able to make.
because I'll be in Vegas.
Yeah.
But I
And
will
then
make Shocktober, which is their big fall event, which I am really looking forward to because it's going to be held at the Rack House, which means it's Rack House rules. This
I
is
know
for
you're go ahead.
huh? Oh, which is for those ages 21 and up, which means they get a more lenient and it's a little more violent.
I was gonna say that means more violence. Hey, it's all about the violence.
Yes, I am. That's why I like the Left Coast Gorillas.
LCG, LCG, LCG.
LCG. LCG. But
Are they
once, huh?
are they gonna put or stream Shocktober on Twitch? Do you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
they will.
nice.
And then the next night they're having another event, the Rocky Horror Wrestling Show at Romero's.
Are you going to that too?
It depends on the weather because now we're getting into the iffy weather around here.
Yeah, you guys already got snow a couple of times.
Yeah, we had a little bit of snow today. So, anything else wrestling related we need to talk about?
The only thing I have left is found out today that they're coming back here. When I say they, WWE is coming back here December 2nd for the holiday tour show, which there's no mention of it on WWE.com yet, just our local Ticketmaster thing. So I will be getting tickets to that. I don't know what it entails. Like if it's gonna be, the only thing I found out so far is it's Sunday at 6 p.m. But I'm guessing it's a Raw show. I was hoping for a because I think the same day or the day before there's a advertisement for SmackDown show in Arlington, Texas. So apparently it's not going to be like a big like everybody comes together, which that would be fun as hell to go see. But I'll be getting tickets to those as soon as they go on sale. I think either tomorrow or Friday, something like that. I want to see what's actually happening first before I get tickets. That will be, I guess, maybe an early birthday present for me and some of Morris's Christmas present.
Yeah, more so
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, What's Happening was a good show. Gotta love rerun.
I can't believe they're coming back here so soon. Like they were just here over the summer. Like if it's a Raw specific show, like it was over the summer. But that's something I found out today, so I'll be keeping an eye out for that for exactly what kind of show, what kind of card they're announcing.
You missed the joke.
No, I got the joke.
I didn't hear the joke. This is the bad part of using just my phone without my earbuds. I didn't even hear what Matt said. I just heard Matt, but I didn't hear what he said. What'd you say?
Where he says something like, "I'll see you. I'll catch what's happening." And I said, hey, "What's Happening was a good show. You gotta love rerun."
Oh, Dynamite.
Jimmy J.J. Walker.
And that's about it as far as my wrestling news. With one little add-in of Bam Bam Malone is still heavyweight champion of Heroes of Wrestling, not that Heroes of Wrestling Matt. Its own promotion, not the 1999 pay-per-view. Before you get started,
You want to play 21? I got 22.
that makes no damn sense. All right then. So I can tell you never play poker. Like, put all your money on the table. Let's go again. But it's looking like it's just going to be a Raw live, which I'm cool with. Since maybe this time I can actually go. Just wondering, like, the alignment differences between this past summer and what they're going to do in December. Please don't turn Dean Hill. Please. I'll cheer him. Like, I don't give a crap. But please don't turn him Hill.
Yeah, but as Matt and I were talking, yeah, we agree that the best way, if Dean wants to leave the Shield, it was the best way he did it right now. Just walk away from it.
Yeah. And let them know, like, let me see. I mean, and no better time than now. They both have single titles. Raw has, Dean has no title. Like, let me see what I can do on it. Let me see if I can prove myself again. I just came back from a 9 month injury. Even if I face one of you guys, like, let me see if I still have it. Like, that's the story. Not cheer shot in the back 2014. That's
So
about it for my wrestling
that's
stuff.
it for my wrestling. Metal Matt.
What?
You got any more wrestling you want to talk about?
No, I think we just about covered it all.
Okay, well, where can they find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at MelMat15, and I'm also on Cage Side Seats, hang on the daily and the nightly. And the nightly, I have started a brand new project. I'm looking at all Black Sabbath albums as well as Ozzy Osbourne solo albums. Tonight was Black Sabbath Volume 4, and tomorrow will be Sabbath Bloody Sabbath.
And what about your podcast?
Well, Roots of the Regression Era podcast will be brand new this Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And none other than the Saskatchewan Spinning a Nerve Hold, aka 5, will be on the show as we talk about Royal Rumble 2004.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
I never get any of the good shows.
I'll find a good show for you. How was Great American Bash 2004 sound?
Better than reviewing the originals.
I mean, how about that Concrete Crypt match?
You're really not swaying me here.
With Paul Bearer being buried in cement by the Undertaker.
Okay, and Moxie, where can they get a hold of you?
Please don't. You can find me on Twitter at Fireman6809. I'm in daily, nightly, or my cage side login is Prince Moxley Lopez, which gives the nickname Mox.
Or
And
Moxie, or all sorts of other stuff.
asshole, like it's whatever suits that day.
Big Money Mox.
Oh, that's a first. I like that one.
Well, they can get a hold of me on Twitter at Lady Roshana, LadyRoshana. You can find me in the daily and sometimes in the nightly as Ambrose Alley. And you can find me on Twitch as Violent Wrestling Podcast. No G.
Oh, you to throw in my Twitch name, I'm Mox MOXC is my Twitch name. I know that's corny, but it worked because shoot names were put together and because somebody, I'm not going to name names, but it rhymes with Matt, started calling me Moxie, and Mox C worked so well with it. So I went with Moxie, but with a C instead of Y. And some VWP news. AA is going to leave us for just a little bit,
For a
as
week.
hinted to earlier. She's going to be making a trip to Vegas to see the Fabu hats.
Otherwise originally known as JBL's hat.
Yeah, JBL's hat, which
Now
look
known as
we
Big Energy hat. And
he's had some like that's just tremendous. All the names he's come up with hat, but and on KCHI Seats he was JBL's hat, and then on Twitter, not his actual user name, but just his name, like Fabu had, and like his big head energy, and just a great guy. So she's going to be out next week. I might be out next week. I'm still not quite certain. So there may be a either earlier podcast, later podcast, or no podcast at all next week. Um, with AA being out and myself not quite certain, we're not sure how things are going to work out. So You might hear Metal Matt and I, maybe a guest earlier, same day, day after, or we might just not be having a podcast next week, but we'll definitely be back in 2 weeks. Um, Again, not putting everything out there, but AA is going to be on vacation. I'm not quite sure what's going on with things I have to do next week, and we'll leave it at that. Hopefully, we can be here next week.
If not,
If not,
you catch us in 2 weeks.
yeah.
And don't forget Ruthless Aggression Era podcast and our sister podcast of Shooting the Breeze, Two Guys, One Sport, Connoisseurs of Wrestling, Fizzy's Wacky World, and I'm missing one.
Grounds for Development with Biff Kensington and Five.
Oh, yes. That was the one I was missing. So be sure to catch those, as they are just as entertaining, if not more so, than us.
Hey, don't throw us under the bus like that.
I'm not throwing us under the bus. I mean, we have karaoke, kind of like Truth's 7-second dance break.
I blame Matt.
I don't blame anyone.
All
Blame it on
by myself.
alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol.
Well, that's what I'm blaming my hiccups on. And I do apologize for hiccuping, ladies and
Yeah,
gents.
that bothered
And
me a bit.
so that'll be all for tonight, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great one.
Thank you. Peace.
See you in 2 weeks.
Have fun.
Oh, yeah.
All by myself.
Don't wanna be all by myself.
And that is serenading us out.